Hey guys, how you going? Okay guys, I wanted to come back and do some news. So let's have a look at our mainstream news. Chris Dawson to stand trial for murdering his wife. A former Newtown Jets rugby league player has pleaded not guilty to killing his wife Lynette, who was last seen at their Northern Beaches home in 1982. Interesting. Police investigating suspicious death at a Canberra home where a 48-year-old man was shot. There's not much news, not much information that they've given us. And all this no new Queensland COVID-19, loyal pooch. Okay, but is that all they've got? Like, Melbourne businesses struggle as restrictions remain post-lockdown? Why? Why are they still... Oh, where'd it go? Okay, state starts walk-in vaccinations after demand surge. Oh, yeah, that's what they tell you. There's a lot of people that don't really, want a part of this. Experts urge Aussies to keep taking COVID-19 vaccines after woman's death. Are they kidding? Are they joking? Infectious disease experts... When they say experts, a lot of these people come out of university. They don't work in the field, in being a doctor or anything. They just go straight to a desk or, start experimenting. Experts, experiment. Anyway, have urged Australians not to be deterred from getting COVID-19 jabs after the death of a woman linked to the AstraZeneca vaccine. So now it's mainstream news. They're talking about all this. And funnily enough, last year we were kicked off for talking about anything to do with any of this. So, yeah, clearly any death after a vaccination is a tragedy that needs to be noted. We need to do the very best we can to minimise the side effects of vaccinations. But we don't need to change. Oh, really? Well, they need to change something. Because it seems to be not just, there's not minimum, it's happening all over the place. But it also makes me wonder, is that set up too? Because you know who made the vaccines? Operation Warp Speed. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I think you take your chances, and I don't want to take a chance on anything. But what is important is GPs and emergency departments are now able to diagnose this clotting condition much more quickly, much earlier, and as a result, people are getting treatment which is life-saving. Well, how about if you don't in the first place? Oh, this is insane. This article, they're still trying to convince you while saying someone died. This is just insane. The death rate of those diagnosed with vaccine-related blood clots has dropped below 10%, Professor Boy said. It was sitting at 40% when the syndrome was recognised. That's still not good enough. We have to get it down to negligible, but we don't need to change the program at the moment, he said. We're still clearly on track. To doing what? Killing people? I don't know. We're accelerating, which is what we need to do. We're being assured the benefits still outweigh the risks. I'm not saying they're killing people. I'm just saying that the risk of a reaction, Prevention is better than a cure. Is it? No, well, preventing yourself, from and leading a healthy lifestyle can, although I did and I got sick and I don't know how, but anyway, you can get a vaccine which is safe, which is effective, and for which you will get a high level of protection. Minister... How do they say that when they're saying that it doesn't protect you completely? You can still get it. I don't understand. Minister for Defence Peter Dutton also weighed in on the death this morning, saying the matter should be viewed in perspective. Obviously, our thoughts are with that family. It's a tragedy. There have been 2 deaths now from 3.6 million vaccines, Mr. Dutton said on Today. We need to put that into perspective. As tragic as clearly it is for that family, we have seen circumstances where in Canada, 23,000 people have died. No, well, they're readjusting the numbers as we speak as well. If people have a hesitancy, speak to their GP, but every doctor in the country is saying, well, no, they're not, especially if you've got a autoimmune disease already, which is what they're telling me I have, because of what I took and it worked. We know AstraZeneca and Pfizer vaccines from data from places like the UK are extremely effective in reducing serious outcomes such as hospitalisation and death from COVID. I'm sorry guys, I kind of feel like just laughing at the ridiculousness of this. Like, this is insane. Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Because they're Joe Atanasio. Never heard of him. Anyway, that was one of the stories. Okay, what else have we got? Okay, Melbourne businesses are struggling. And they show 2 Asian people. No new cases in Victoria, and they've got 2 Asian people. What is going on here? I've got nothing against Asians, guys, either. I'm just, like, this is their diversity, just really, like, programming it into you without even probably noticing. But tend to notice now on ads and things, and it's not being racist, it's just that, like, you can really see they're trying to diversify the country. That doesn't always work. But anyway, let's not get onto that. Victoria's recorded no new cases of COVID-19 on the first day after Melbourne's hard lockdown lifted. The State Department of Health said 1 new overseas case was recorded in hotel quarantine. In the 24 hours to midnight, 20,752 vaccine doses were administered, sorry guys, and 17,604 test results were received. The Commonwealth yesterday lifted its COVID... Well, why isn't it open? Lifted its hotspot declaration over the city, which means Melburnians will no longer receive disaster payments. This is despite some businesses being required to remain closed for at least another week. Well, they're trying to break them. It makes me look at... They're trying to break the businesses, especially small business, because the corporations can stay open no matter what, by the sound of it. So it knows the difference between a local shop and a corporation, this thing. The Victorian government also reversed its decisions on masks yesterday, with face coverings still required to be worn out. What? Outdoors until the state has its latest outbreak of the virus under control. Okay, again, there is no new cases. What are they doing? No new local cases and 1 new case acquired overseas, currently in HQ, hotel quarantine. Okay, so why? Even Fauci and the CDC, which I wouldn't trust them with a 10-foot, like, with anything. Even they say, like, the mask. Oh, my goodness. The harshest restrictions eased at 11:59 yesterday, a week after it initially was hoped that the state would be on top of the outbreak. 4 new locally acquired cases announced yesterday from the same household and reservoir in Melbourne's north. Australian Medical Association Queensland President Dr. Chris Perry. See, these people here, Medical Association. These people here need to be looked at. Sorry, but they do, because these are people saying like they support the medical decision of the medical community. The heavy-handed lockdown, they supported it. They do seem a bit harsher than some of the other states they've had, but they have a bigger problem than the other states, he told Today. Yeah, I'd definitely be looking at this person. The lifting of the lockdown in Melbourne means 5 reasons to leave home no longer apply. Private household gatherings are still prohibited. You are kidding. But public gatherings, up to 10 people outdoors, will be allowed. Okay, so it knows whether you are in private or public now. Hospitality and retail sectors will reopen. Students will return to schools. So it knows the difference there as well. What is going on? People need to... Oh, hide that. People need to... Enough is enough. That's ridiculous. Okay, there's thousands without power in Victoria after the storms we had, and we had snow, and we still have it on the ground a little tiny bit, but it is sunny, partly cloudy. Yeah, we've got one little patch of snow on the ground there. So no new snow fell. That was the best yesterday when I went live, so there's that. Clifftop Sydney mansion set to smash price records. They got no other news to report? Hope's new travel bubble will revive international student industry. Well, let's hope not. I'd prefer that they study from where they are, because I can see housing prices everywhere going up. And apparently Tim Poole was mentioning today that they're allowing Chinese to buy up all the housing and corporations. No, Blackwater, sorry. Corporations are now buying up housing and land. So, great. That's all we need. And they're doing it for overprice. They're paying over the price to buy it. So, yeah, this is not a good idea. The way we're going, everything's going downhill. And you need to just put the brakes on everything right now and just hang on. Step back. Let's take a look at what we've got. Let's sort out the mess we have before we have anyone else coming in. And see how we go first. Get our own country sorted. Okay, we have Prince Charles riding a bike to launch a charity cycle. Oh dear. Guys, be careful which charities you give to. Melbourne ends lockdown despite 4 mystery cases. New South Wales grandmother killed as she answered her front door. It sounds like the same thing that happened in Victoria. Been described as a horrendous targeted attack. She was shot as she answered her front door last night at home on Queen Street in the Newcastle suburb of Stockton. A 31-year-old daughter and 8-week-old granddaughter were at home at the time of the shooting. The pair had recently moved in after becoming estranged from the child's father. Horrendous, an innocent person. Okay, it doesn't really say much. She was a brand new grandmother and happy to be a new grandmother. Survived by a son with autism who requires full-time care. A manhunt is underway across the New South Wales Hunter region, and detectives do believe they know who they're looking for. It's a young man and is known to the family. How are they sure? Did someone see him? They'd say they don't give you... They give you nothing. Their stories give you nothing. Okay, here. This girl's distressed from being away from her family on Christmas Island. A girl medically evacuated from Christmas Island is distressed. Okay, you know what this is? This is a piece to encourage immigration. Make you feel sorry for them. Because they were deported from the Queensland town amid an immigration row and being treated in... Okay, well, let's have a look at the story. A girl medically evacuated from Christmas Island is distressed after being separated from her sister and father who remain in immigration detention. Her Priya and her daughter, Sanika, are currently in Perth after a 3-year-old was diagnosed with sepsis and pneumonia after being medically evacuated from Christmas. They use these pictures all the time. Look, she looks half dead, right? But she's got these things sitting beside her. What was she doing? If she's looking like this, how has she even got these things here? A family friend said antibiotics are helping the 3-year-old. They never give you names of people. Yeah, this looks like a piece to try and get the rest of her family in. That's what it looks like to me. I'm sorry, but it does. World leaders cozy beach stroll with wives. World leaders. Who are the world leaders? Oh, Biden and Johnson, Boris Johnson and wife. They met ahead of the G7 meeting. They will talk about the pandemic as well as climate change. Yep. Okay, the climate changes. I hope they know that. More cruise ships with more positives. That really there's not like, this is not news. What is this? Tenants left without financial help struggle to afford to... Oh, I know what that's like. I've had a tough few months. I'm still trying to crawl my way back out of it because I was paying $700 a fortnight in rent and I was only getting a couple of hundred more than that, and that's a fortnight, not a week, a fortnight. Victorian tenants who've been unable to work, oh no, in the recent lockdown will struggle to afford to eat, let alone pay the rent, after losing an average $817 in wages. See, we're having problems. Our rentals are sky high. Buying is the same. Trying to buy a place to live would be the same. And you've got to look at, like, correlation does not always mean causation, but when you flood the country and you keep getting more people, then your housing prices start to go up. Your taxes will end up going up. And then they got the Today Show, the property. Okay, what else have we got on the news? I'll be back. Okay, well, it seems like... Oh my goodness. Why does my internet connection play up when it's raining? Hard-hitting story, that one. You know what? It's because they make sure the internet is not... So they go at different speeds as well, and then it depends on where you are, and I believe they play with it. But that's just me. I've got a conspiracy mind. Vaccine miscarriage myth. Stan Andrews fall and Trump's trousers in corona check. What? This is ABC. What is this? Medical experts say COVID-19 poses greater risk to pregnant women than vaccine side effects. Really? Corona check is, okay. Corona check number 69. In this week's Corona check, we update you on COVID-19 vaccines and pregnancy. Okay, who are they mentioning here? This week, recommended pregnant women, health authorities in Australia this week recommended pregnant women get the Pfizer vaccine with the risk of severe outcomes from the corona significantly greater for both women and... Well, these health authorities, whoever they are, they need to name them, and they need to be fired. Sorry, but they do. Global surveillance data... Read a joint statement issued by the Australian Technical Advisory Group on Immunisation and the Royal Australian and New Zealand College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. Really? I'd be wary. But while the science appears to stack up, misinformation about COVID-19s and pregnancies proliferated from the onset of the vaccination program. All I can say is talk to your doctor if you have any concerns. In February, fact-checkers at AFP took on a claim that inferred that 10 pregnant women had suffered miscarriages in the US as a result of the vaccination. According to AFP, there was nothing to suggest the jabs were the cause of the miscarriages reported to have occurred after women received the vaccines. The reports are not proof that a vaccine caused a problem, and the US Centre for Disease Control and Prevention says there is currently no evidence of an increase in miscarriage after COVID-19 immunisation. PolitiFact, who are not very trustworthy, also took aim at a claim that 920 miscarriages have been linked to the vaccine. I'm telling you, these fact checkers, some of them were found to have shares in, those big companies, So I don't know if PolitiFact was one of them. I honestly cannot say. This does not provide evidence supporting its claim. We found none confirming it. These figures have been taken out of context, and I wouldn't trust ABC if you... Seriously, if it was the last one on earth, I don't think I'd trust it at all. There's a share market. Is this all the news they've got? This is like news. As Victorian restrictions ease, Sutton wants testing blitz to continue through winter. Okay, well, seriously, I'd be looking at these people. I'd be seriously looking at them, even emailing them, saying, what are you doing? Like, seriously, what are you doing? The G7 carbon talks could spell the demise of this 12.6 billion Australian export industry. What is it? Aluminium exports. Okay. Canberra man dies after being shot at entry. Huge disappointment. Minister apologises for failure to solve Choose CBR technical issues as program suspended. The ACT's government's second attempt to offer local businesses discount vouchers is shut for a week as it grapples with technical difficulties. Of course. I don't want anyone to succeed but the, really, really big ones. Cities are not fit for purpose, say these experts. How do we get them right? You move people around and get them in the country. Australia is one of the least densely populated nations in the world, and yet according to Australia Talks National Survey 2021, 35% of Australians say the population is getting too big for the country to handle. Okay, let me just say something about that. We do not have the infrastructure to handle it. And that's what happens, and then you get... and all these units that they're putting everywhere, they are not human-friendly. Units are not human-friendly, really, they're not. You need area around you, you need greenery, you need trees. You need to be in amongst nature, I think. Those living outside inner metro areas, including regional and rural residents, are most likely to agree. Some of their concerns about a booming population, particularly in cities, centre on the environmental impact of population density. Really? Yeah, the environment of the city. Yeah. And you do affect the environment when you concrete everything. It turns into a concrete jungle. It is hotter in summer when you have concrete and tar everywhere. But that's the wrong way to look at it, according to can't say that name, sociology and political theory professor at the University of Sydney, okay, which I'd also be very careful of. Some of the greenest cities in the world are much denser than what our cities are at the moment. He points out that low-density cities like Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane are less sustainable as a consequence of urban sprawl. Oh, that's who it is. Okay, now it makes sense. He's trying to fix the cities when you really need to just get out of them. Right now we have cities that are not fit for purpose when we're talking about adjusting to things like climate change. And there goes me out the window. Okay, I don't put a lot of what would you call it? I have no faith in them saying this at all, okay? Environment, yes, we need to clean the environment up, and I believe you can do that by not building cities, and it'll be a lot cleaner. Imagine if a city was green with land, and it used to be, Sydney used to be, Penrith used to be. It was farming land in the 70s, a lot of it. And now it's just houses everywhere. And it does change the climate in the area as I said, when you put concrete everywhere, it makes it hotter. But not the way they're telling you, like catastrophe, that kind of thing. I don't believe in that. Because it always has changed, it always will. There's cycles of it that go in tens of years. All the way up to thousands, hundreds of thousands of years cycles. So there's all different cycles within that. For them to try and claim is, I just can't imagine it. Having denser populations which compresses people into a small area can actually make a positive contribution to some of the environmental. This is how they do it, when we should be looking at the opposite. With ABS forecasts suggesting the Australian population could double by 2066, denser cities are inevitable. Okay, well, I don't know if you know this, but Australia's birthing rates have gone down. So how are you going to double the population by 2066? You need to think about that. These people also come in, don't know the country, and vote certain ways. We've got to be educated. How dense our city should be? Not at all. Sorry, but they shouldn't be. Australian cities have an average density of 15 dwellings per hectare of land. Yeah, well, that might be right in the city, but see how far away these houses are away from each other? It's not like that in the suburbs. In the suburbs, the houses are nearly 1 or 2 metres away from each other. You hear everybody's business. This is a rich suburb of a city, you can tell by the housing. And they have land. This one's pretty close, but they have land around them between each house. People need more land. We need to start like out in the country more and you know. Experts say Australia is more than capable of shouldering this population boom if we get the planning right. Oh dear, they're just planning for the demise, aren't they? Australia, and you know what happens in cities? Get more violence, more crime. That's what happens. By international standard, that's extraordinarily low. We have some of the lowest densities globally and some of the biggest houses. This is not sustainable, she says. They want you in units. There you go. That's what they want you in. Melbourne, for example, has put massive amounts of high-rise density in the middle of the city and almost none elsewhere. Our suburbs are very spread out and often heavily car-dependent. Okay, if you haven't looked up Agenda 21, you need to. Because this is bad. Really bad. This is not what you want. And the news will sell it to you like everyone wants this, and that's not how it is. What the news say the majority want is not true. I'm sorry, but it's not. And yeah, oh my goodness, I don't even know what to say. The news it's pathetic. Okay, here's Yahoo Australia. The last one was ABC and the one before that was 9. Border hoppers put on notice. Really? Guys, this is insanely ridiculous. Okay, and they have a couple of different, but I don't know if you've ever done this, but there's videos of it on YouTube, actually, or there was, of all the news agencies saying exactly the same thing, nearly word for word. Well, because I've been sick for a lot of years, I used to watch the news daily, all day, actually, way back. And I'd watch ABC News 24 when it started becoming 24/7. I'd watch that. And then at 4:30, I'd switch over to 7 News. And then at 5, it would be 10 News. And then at 6, it would be 9. And I would watch all those news programs, and it's pretty quick. You notice pretty quickly that they all say the same thing. They might have slight variations in certain words or the delivery of it, but every one of them repeat the same thing. And it's really insane when you see it. You wonder how you didn't notice it before. But, and I don't know if they're still doing it now. This was back in 2009, I think. I haven't watched the news for a long time because I don't trust it. I just don't trust it. They don't give you the whole story. They seem like they deliberately leave things out, and yeah, otherwise it's just like, what, they're trying to, like the last one I read, they're trying to push a certain way, like they want everyone in now units and things like. You need to look up Agenda 21 if you don't know about it. Look it up. Hopefully there's still some videos out there on it. And I'm going to leave it there for today, guys, because this was actually like, wow. I didn't realise the news was this, because I haven't watched it for a long time or really looked at it much. I didn't realise it was this bad. So, okay, let me know what you think down below, guys. I'm just like gobsmacked I'm amazed at the lack of real, because there's things going on in the world, and this is what we report. Like, it seems to be just getting sillier and sillier. Anyway, you can let me know what you think down below, guys. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, guys. Bye.